Poor Waitress greeted Millionaire CEO's Italian dad. Her Italian greeting had every guest frozen. Sofia's heart pounded as security led her to a small office off the main ballroom. Marco and Antonio followed, despite the manager's protests. "This is ridiculous," Marco said firmly. "I've been with Ms. Russo all evening." "Not the entire time, sir," the security guard replied, nodding to a woman holding Sofia's small purse. "We need to follow protocol." The woman emptied Sofia's purse onto the desk. Out tumbled her usual items: lip balm, keys, phone, wallet, and then, glittering under the harsh office lights, a diamond bracelet. Sofia gasped. "That's not mine. I've never seen that before." The security guard picked up the bracelet. "This belongs to Mrs. Harrington. She reported it missing 30 minutes ago." "This is absurd," Antonio exclaimed. "This young woman is the granddaughter of the most honorable man I've ever known." The door opened, and Vanessa sauntered in, feigning surprise. "Oh my! Is that the missing bracelet? How shocking!" Marco's eyes narrowed. "Vanessa, what did you do?" "Me?" She placed a hand on her chest in mock offense. "I simply told security I saw someone suspicious near Mrs. Harrington's table. I had no idea it would be your new friend." Sofia felt tears threatening but refused to let them fall. "Mr. Ricci, I should go. My grandmother needs me, and I don't want to cause any more trouble." "Wait." Marco's voice was calm but commanding. He turned to the security guard. "Check the security cameras. Now." "Sir, that's not standard procedure for. This is my company's event, in a hotel where I sit on the board." "Check the cameras." 20 minutes later, they all watched footage showing Vanessa clearly slipping the bracelet into Sofia's unattended purse while she was helping Antonio to the restroom. The security team apologized profusely. Mrs. Harrington, a kind elderly woman, was horrified at the false accusation and insisted no charges be pressed against Vanessa. "I'm calling you a car," Marco told Vanessa, his voice ice cold. "We're done." "You can't be serious," Vanessa hissed. "Over some waitress? Do you know who my father is? What this will do to your merger?" "I don't care if I lose the merger," Marco replied. "Some things are more important than business." As Vanessa was escorted out, she turned to Sofia with pure hatred. "This isn't over, little immigrant girl. You have no idea who you're dealing with." The ride to Sunset Gardens nursing home was quiet. Sofia sat beside Marco in his luxury car, still processing everything that had happened. "I'm sorry about Vanessa," Marco finally said. "She's the daughter of my biggest competitor. The merger would have ended a decade-long corporate war." Sofia looked at him in surprise. "You sacrificed that for me? Someone you just met?" Marco's eyes were sincere in the dim light. "My father taught me that character matters more than contracts. Besides," he added with a small smile, "I've never seen him connect with anyone the way he did with you tonight." When they arrived at the nursing home, Sofia hesitated. "Would you like to meet my grandmother?" Marco nodded. "I'd be honored." Maria Russo's room was small but filled with photographs and mementos of Sicily. The elderly woman was awake, her hands trembling slightly, a symptom of her disease, but her eyes brightened when Sofia entered. "Nonna, I've brought someone to meet you," Sofia said in Italian. "This is Marco Ricci. Antonio Ricci's son." Maria's eyes widened. "Ricci? Antonio's boy?" Her gaze traveled over Marco's face. "You have his eyes." Marco knelt beside her bed and took her trembling hand. "My father sends his love, Signora Russo. He never forgot your husband's bravery." Tears filled Maria's eyes. Giuseppe always said Antonio would make something of himself. He had the fire, that one. For the next hour, Maria shared stories of Sicily, of Giuseppe and Antonio as young men, of the life they'd left behind. Despite her illness, her memory was crystal clear when it came to the past. As they were leaving, Maria beckoned Marco closer. "You look at my Sofia the way Antonio once looked at me," she whispered. "Before he met his wife." Marco blushed. "Is it that obvious? To an old woman who knows about such things?" "Yes." She patted his hand. "She works too hard. 3 jobs. No time for living." "Nah." Sofia protested, embarrassed. "It's true," Maria insisted. "All to pay for this place and my medicines." Marco's expression grew serious. "Mrs. Russo, would you allow me to help? Not charity, a debt repaid. My father owes his life to your husband." Maria studied him carefully. "You are a good man, like your father. But my Sofia is proud, like her grandfather." "I've noticed," Marco said with a smile. Over the next few weeks, Sofia found herself drawn into the Ricci's world. Antonio insisted on visiting Maria regularly, bringing Sicilian delicacies and old photographs. The 2 elderly people reconnected as if decades hadn't passed. Marco, meanwhile, found excuses to see Sofia, bringing documents for Maria's new healthcare arrangement, which Sofia had reluctantly accepted after much persuasion, inviting her to Italian cultural events, or simply happening to visit the small cafe where she worked mornings. One evening, he invited her to dinner at his penthouse. When she arrived, she found the terrace transformed into a Sicilian courtyard, with twinkling lights, lemon trees in pots, and the smell of authentic cuisine. "You did all this?" Sofia asked, amazed. Marco looked sheepish. "I had help. Dad supervised the food preparation very strictly." "Where is Antonio? He thought we might want some privacy." Marco led her to the table. "Sofia, these past weeks have been the happiest I can remember. Before I met you, my life was just work and more work." Sofia smiled. "And now?" "Now I remember there's more to life than quarterly reports." He took her hand. "I've fallen in love with you, Sofia Russo. Your strength, your dedication to family, your kindness." Sofia's heart soared, but doubt crept in. "Marco, our worlds are so different. I'm a waitress with a high school diploma. You run a billion-dollar company. Do you think I care about that? My father was a fisherman's son who built an empire. What matters is who we are, not what we have." Their first kiss, under the stars with the scent of lemon blossoms in the air, felt like coming home. 3 months later, disaster struck. Vanessa's father, Richard Blackwood, launched a hostile takeover of Ricci Technologies, using information Vanessa had gathered during her relationship with Marco. The same day, Sofia received notice that Sunset Gardens was closing, bought out by a developer with plans for luxury condos. All residents had 30 days to find new accommodations. The developer? Blackwood Properties. "This is my fault," Sofia said, pacing Marco's office. "Vanessa is punishing me by going after my grandmother." Marco looked grim. "She's punishing both of us. The company, your grandmother, she's striking at everything we care about." Antonio, who had been quietly listening, spoke up. "In Sicily, we have a saying, when storms come, trees with deep roots survive." "What does that mean, Dad?" "It means we fight. Together. As family." Marco's eyes lit up. "Dad, that's it. The Sicilian Investment Group, they've been wanting to partner with us for years." "The Palermo Consortium?" Antonio nodded thoughtfully. "Old families, old money. They've known the Ricci name for generations. And they'd know the Russo name too," Marco added. "If we approach them together." Sofia looked between them, confused. "How would that help?" Marco explained his plan. By the end of the week, the Palermo Consortium had agreed to back Ricci Technologies against Blackwood's takeover, on one condition, that the company establish a cultural heritage foundation, dedicated to preserving Sicilian craftsmanship and supporting immigrant families. Sofia would head the foundation, using her personal experience and passion to guide its mission. With the takeover thwarted, Blackwood had no choice but to sell the nursing home property. The newly established Russo Ricci Foundation purchased it, transforming it into an improved care facility with a cultural center attached, where elderly immigrants could teach traditional crafts to younger generations. 1 year later, Sofia stood nervously backstage at the grand opening of the cultural center. Her grandmother, whose treatments had improved dramatically under new specialists, sat in the front row beside Antonio, their hands clasped together like old friends. "Ready?" Marco asked, adjusting his tie. Sofia smoothed her elegant dress, a far cry from her waitress uniform, but still modest compared to the designer gowns she could now afford. "What if I mess up the speech?" Marco kissed her forehead. "Just speak from your heart, like you did that first night. That's what changed our lives, remember?" As Sofia walked onto the stage, she saw hundreds of faces, wealthy donors, immigrant families, press, and in the center, her grandmother and Antonio, beaming with pride. 1 year ago, Sofia began, I was a waitress carrying champagne at an event much like this one. I heard someone speaking the language of my childhood, the language my nana taught me, and I responded without thinking. That simple greeting changed everything. She told the story of Giuseppe and Antonio, of a debt spanning generations, of two families separated by circumstance but reunited by fate. Today, we open this center not just as a place for our elders to receive care, but as a bridge between past and future. Where the craftsmanship of Giuseppe Russo can be taught to children who might otherwise forget their heritage. Where the business acumen of Antonio Ricci can inspire immigrants with dreams of building something lasting. In the back of the room, Sofia spotted an unexpected face, Vanessa, watching silently. We all make mistakes, Sofia continued, looking directly at her former enemy. We all sometimes forget what truly matters. But it's never too late to remember, to reconnect, to rebuild. After the ceremony, Vanessa approached hesitantly. That was quite a speech. Sofia nodded cautiously. Thank you for coming. My father's retiring, Vanessa said abruptly. The fight with Marco took too much out of him. I'm taking over the company. Congratulations. Vanessa looked uncomfortable. I came to propose a truce. Maybe even a partnership. Your foundations work with immigrant communities, it could align with some of our development goals. Sofia studied the woman who had tried to destroy her. People can change, Vanessa. I believe that. We can talk next week. As Vanessa walked away, Marco joined Sofia. Was that who I think it was? Yes. Offering an olive branch, believe it or not. Marco shook his head in amazement. You really do work miracles, Sofia Russo. Later that evening, as the celebration continued, Marco led Sofia to the small courtyard garden designed to resemble a traditional Sicilian piazza. Antonio and Maria followed, curious. In the center of the garden stood a hand-carved wooden bench, the last piece Giuseppe Russo had created before his death, preserved by Maria all these years and donated to the center. Marco knelt beside the bench and took Sofia's hand. 1 year ago, a simple greeting in Italian changed my life. I found not just the love of my life, but a connection to my heritage I never fully understood before. He opened a small wooden box, carved from the same wood as the bench. Inside nestled a ring with a modest but perfect diamond. Sofia Russo, will you marry me? Not because of our family's history, but because you've shown me what truly matters in life. Through tears, Sofia nodded. Yes. Si. In any language, yes. Antonio and Maria embraced, their eyes shining with tears of joy. Giuseppe would be so proud, Maria whispered. His granddaughter marrying Antonio's son. The circle complete. Antonio nodded. Not just a circle, Maria. A new beginning. 6 months later, Sofia and Marco were married in a small ceremony in Sicily, near the beach where Giuseppe had once rescued Antonio. The Ricci Foundation had already helped dozens of families, preserving cultural traditions while creating opportunities for new generations. As they danced under the stars, Marco whispered in Sofia's ear, "Who would have thought that a simple buongiorno would lead to all this?" Sofia smiled. My nonna always said the most important journeys begin with the smallest steps. From their table, Antonio raised his glass in a toast. To Giuseppe Russo, who taught me that life is a gift we owe to others. And to his beautiful granddaughter, who reminded me that sometimes, the greatest gifts come when we least expect them. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about fate, family, and finding love in unexpected places. I'd love to know which country you're watching from. Drop it in the comments below.